Hey everyone, just going to put my earbuds in. Today we're talking to a good friend of mine and I guess a musical icon in punk rock and also skateboarding. Mario Ruba. Sorry, lost my voice. Mario Rubalcaba, and he's going to be joining us from San Diego in a second. So if you do have any questions for him, please either send them to the little question box down the bottom or put it in the comments. I'm pretty excited to have him come on and chat. He's been someone I've known for a really long time, and just an amazing human, as are all the guys in Earthless. But Mario, of course, is someone who's been very prolific throughout his entire music career, playing not only in his own bands, but also collaborating and playing in other bands, just on tracks, on songs, and he's just, in terms of being a drummer, he's just an absolute force to reckon with. So I'm really excited just to have a chat with him about everything. And of course, I'm going to be talking about skateboarding as well, because it's also something that I love and is something that me and Mario have always had in common, and we have loads of common friends as well in that arena. So I'll just give Mario some time to come join us because of the time difference. He's probably putting his children to bed. Hopefully it will just be a couple of minutes as well. But thank you guys for joining. Tomorrow at 2 p.m. Australian time and 9 p.m. LA time, I'll be talking to Mike Sullivan from Russian Circles. So he's the lead guitarist in the band. So I'm really looking forward to that one. So yeah, make sure you tune in tomorrow if you're a Russian Circles fan, or even if you're not. It will be awesome. I've just gotten a quick message from Mario, so hang tight while I just ready my... Cool. It's been really funny with this whole COVID thing and doing these IGTVs, having to teach everybody how to use this. And it's like I'm not an expert at it. I just learnt it off the top of my head as well. So, having to teach everybody, how to actually use this thing has been really funny. I didn't think it would be quite, so difficult to explain. But, he's heading here now, so sorry, it won't be a couple of minutes. But as I said, if you have any questions for Mario, please put them in the comments or in the question box down the bottom of the screen, which is the little question mark. All of these live streams are permanently put on my Instagram profile, so you can watch them at any time. I have been uploading them to YouTube, but YouTube and IGTV have been having a bit of an issue lately, so it's taking me a bit of time to get all of them up on YouTube, but they are all up and able to be watched all the way through on my actual IG profile. So if you go to the main page, in the middle there's a little TV icon, and you can just click on that and you can see every single one that I've done. So yeah, I'm just checking if Mario knows what he's doing. But yeah, thanks. I just want to say a huge thanks to everybody who has been joining all of these sessions, because that makes it really worthwhile when I know that people are actually watching. Even if they're not watching live, a lot of people have been watching them later, especially if the time zone it doesn't work, because usually only two time zones are sort of awake and everyone else is asleep. So it's been a little tricky to time everything so that it works. But at the moment, it's all going well. So just here we go. Here he is. I'll just get him on. Okay. Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. I was like, I don't know if he knows how to get on here.
This is the first time I've done this.
Yeah, everyone's been the same. So I was just saying, I've had to kind of explain it to everybody.
Yeah.
I had to learn it off the top of my head as well.
Uh-huh.
And then I've had to teach everyone else how to come on. Um, yeah. Um, Hello, and it's super
Hey,
awesome to see you again.
it's good to see you too. It's been a while.
Yeah, it has. It has. I was saying, we've been friends for a while now, and you and Mike and Isaiah are like
Hmm.
basically a family to me. You're like my other brothers. So
Indeed.
I
Isaiah did
was,
this a few weeks ago, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was great. Um, yeah, and we were sort of talking about that, and I was saying, yeah, you guys are like my favorite dudes, and of course, you are like I said, bros to me. So we've always
Yep.
gotten
We have
along great.
history.
Yeah, we do, and yeah, and you've actually come up, which is been really awesome. You've actually come up in quite a few of the interviews I've done so far,
Oh,
which I
crazy.
think is awesome. Yeah.
First of all, excuse me for any like burps or any weird noises because we just had dinner and I just put the kids to bed and I'm drinking a little bit.
Uh,
So,
don't worry about
so
it.
that's all.
It's don't worry. We've had everything on here. King
Yeah.
Dude had King Dude left and had to pee and continued to talk to me while he was off in another room peeing. Uh, Jay Gambit was pulling bongs the whole interview.
Oh,
we,
yeah, this
we've
will be
had
pretty tame
yeah,
comparatively.
yeah. So yeah, there's no issue at all with that.
Yeah,
Um, what was I going to say now? You distracted me with the burp
sorry.
thing.
Burp.
um, Someone's already asking if you eat tacos. Yes, of course you eat tacos.
All the time. I live in San Diego.
I know. I was thinking. This is the thing. I was thinking earlier today. I was like, "There's three things, like, of course, that I love, and that's burritos,
Yeah.
San Diego, and Earthless." So I was like, "All great things." Um, yeah, and so I guess I wanted to touch on a few things musically, and then of
Yeah.
course skateboarding, because of course, that I love skateboarding as well,
Yeah, yeah.
and that you're involved in skateboarding, and you were professional at a
A
point.
long
So
time ago. Sorry, it's getting
yeah,
dark here real quick. Sorry, guys.
that's all right.
All right.
Good to go. All
Yeah.
right. Yeah. So I was gonna say, so you first started off drumming in like 1990, was it? In a band called 411?
Well, that was my first touring and recording band.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, yeah, that was the first band I ever recorded a real record that came out and toured, the U.S. and stuff. So I was like 18, I think. I was barely out of high school, so
Yeah, yeah. So when did
yeah.
you start?
But I
Before when
played
did you
I
start
played in
drumming?
bands before that. I
Yeah,
mean, but always just like backyard party, skate ramp, bands with
yeah,
my skater friends and stuff. So
yeah, yeah,
and that started when I was like 14, I think.
yeah, yeah,
So, but I've been playing drums my pretty much my whole life. So yeah,
yeah,
so
yeah.
it's a yeah, it's just that's who I am.
I know, and yeah, and I was saying like Justin Pearson brought you up, which I mentioned to you the other day, and
Yeah.
he had nothing but great things to say, and yeah, we were just talking about how much of a mean machine you are on the
Uh,
drums, like, and like and when I was speaking with talking to Isaiah, of course, we were talking about that, like the whole dynamic with you guys on stage
Yeah.
and how like you just it's so like you just can't stop watching. Each of you is like so engrossed in what you're doing, and there's just like this such this amazing chemistry going on stage, which I think is a big part of why people love seeing you guys play. You
You
know,
know,
like you feel like you're like in it almost, you know?
yeah, we're definitely into it. I mean, I don't think we would be able to be a band this long or like to play. We've been playing together a pretty long time, just about 20 years now.
Yeah,
But we didn't really start doing the touring stuff till like years after we started playing together. So,
yeah.
and we just played last night for we've been
Yeah,
starting
you
to
said you
get
had
together
the
again.
practice. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So,
awesome.
it's really fun playing with those two. It's a really unique chemistry, and with all the bands that I've played or play in or have played in and stuff, it's this one. It's stands out a little bit differently because it's like it's a little bit more telepathic in some sense. I don't know, like where
Yeah,
we don't really have to do a lot of talking if we don't want to,
yeah,
you know. And
yeah. I was saying
yeah,
to
that's
Isaiah,
cool.
there's this like secret,
Yeah,
like kind of mind language that you talk with each other as you're
for
playing,
sure. Yeah,
like, and that's how you kind of know, okay, here they're going into this bit because of course with instrumental, especially
yeah.
when there's no vocals at all,
Hmm.
it's really important that you guys have your way of communicating and body language and all of that sort of stuff. Just
Yeah,
like
and a lot of times it's not always super serious either. I mean, like
yeah,
when we're playing music, it's like, I mean, yeah, you can give a look to know when to go into something, but sometimes it's like a corny look that's like
yeah,
signals
yeah,
when, and someone will start kind of laughing, when something
yeah,
happens, and
yeah, yeah,
it's a cool communication that we have. So
yeah, yeah. It
yeah,
is, and it's just such a like because it was. I think me and Isaiah worked out. I think it was last year that we saw you, and it was when you had Mike wasn't in it at the time. He wasn't able to come.
right.
Yeah, and Isaiah was saying, it was a different kind of dynamic having not having Mike.
Oh, totally. I mean,
It was
yeah,
very different, but like cool,
yeah,
but very different.
yeah. We were. I
And
mean, we were super lucky to have our buddy Rodrigo. He was
yeah,
from Brazil. He filled in on the Brazilian tour, and it couldn't have we couldn't have asked for a better person to take the place of Mike. No one can replace Mike, but like
no,
you know, um, he was such a cool natural. He had his own vibe, and
yeah,
very talented musician, bass player, and so it was easy to ask him to join up, meet us in Australia from Brazil,
yeah,
and
yeah,
have like two practices, and like anyone that can do that is a badass. So
yeah, yeah, yeah,
so yeah, he filled in pretty good,
yeah. You
but.
did. So it's yeah, but he's not Mike.
No, no,
It
no,
is
no,
a
no one's the egg.
no,
The egg
no
is
one is
is
the egg.
you know, and he's like the secret weapon, really. I mean,
He is,
like
yeah, yeah,
he enables Isaiah and me to just kind of run circles and go around the solar system and just kind of
yeah. I kind
go
of
lollygagging around.
I kind of think of him as like he's like the silent but deadly. Like, you
Yeah,
know what I mean? He's
big
like,
time for sure.
off stage he's like, he's a talker, but
Yeah,
like on stage he's usually the one that's more in
yeah,
his own zone. So he's like, yeah, he's this silent but like very deadly little machine
yeah.
that's kind of moving you guys around.
It's so weird. I'm gonna just sorry if I go off topic right now, but
Oh, doesn't
like
matter.
with Mike, um, because in my old band and when I was in a band called Clickatatic Italy, Mike used
Which
to
I was
he
into, yeah.
he he's a little bit younger at the time. I probably seemed a lot older, and he seemed a lot younger. So he was probably like 16, and I was like in my like 21, 22 or something like that.
Yeah.
And he used to come to shows of that band, and we all were dressed a lot different and kind of were just in a different time.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think back to that time, and I never thought that I would ever be in a band with Mike,
Yeah.
like this, you know what I mean? And or Isaiah, because Isaiah used to work at the guitar shop that Scott, the guitarist for Clickitat, worked at,
Yeah.
and we practiced at the guitar shop. And I remember seeing Isaiah there when I'd go in and visit Scott and be like, just shoot the shit. And then I'd see Isaiah there, and I'd be like, oh, who's this kid, And
Yeah.
he's like, oh, that's Isaiah. He's a prodigy. He like plays Hendrix at like school recitals and stuff. And
Yeah.
I didn't know. I never saw Isaiah play until we practiced for the first time.
Yeah.
And he rescued me one time because I was skating in front of the guitar shop and I rolled my ankle
Yeah.
like really bad. Like I couldn't get home, and I lived a couple streets down, but I couldn't walk. So
Yeah.
he gave me a ride home in this big like station wagon. It was like a Cadillac station wagon, and
Yeah.
so that was like the first time him and I really get like kind of like got to know each other a little bit more.
Yeah.
But I never saw or heard him play guitar until we practiced for the first time, jammed for the first time.
Yeah. Yeah. What
And
was
then
that
like,
like?
oh, it blew my mind. I was like, it was like the last thing in that I expected to happen was this band,
Yeah.
because I had just moved back to San Diego to join Rocket from the Crypt,
Yeah.
and I was maybe like back in San Diego for like a couple months, and then that's when I got reconnected with Mike and a mutual friend. We just hung out and went to Mike's house and had burritos and kind of bonded. You bonded over burritos and
Widows.
bonded
Yeah.
over like obscure music and stuff, and
Yeah.
that's when we kind of put together the recipe for the band that we should try and start.
Yeah.
And then he mentioned Isaiah. He said he was going to be coming back in town to visit. Because he was living in Oakland or something at the time, and that's when we got together and stuff. And I was just like, damn, this is pretty good.
Yeah. It's like, and it's just been like that ever since. And it's just like,
Yeah.
yeah, just I don't know. It's just magic watching you guys play. Every time I've seen you play, you've played amazing. And every single time you play, even though most of the time I know what you're gonna play,
Right.
I know I'm still like right there engrossed, even though I know
Yeah.
what you're gonna play. But
Yeah,
it's like always,
you've been to a few Earthless shows.
yeah. I'm racking up the numbers, and
Yeah.
yeah, so it's like I know what you're gonna do pretty much, and I have an idea each time. And I was saying to Isaiah, like when I saw you guys in the UK and you played the Zeppelin cover, and
Yeah.
just how everyone went absolutely mental for that cover. They just love that. I was just like, wow. And just like I think it was because it's a whole new, and everyone just recognized it. It was that like
Yeah.
immediate, and you
And,
played it so well.
and plus, well, Zeppelin is from the UK, so.
Exactly. Yeah. So they were just like, ah. But
Yeah.
I was gonna say it's funny because earlier I was giving Ikatawa another listen, and
Mhm.
I was just like, fuck, I forgot how good this is. You know what I mean? And I was like just listening to it back and forth, like as I was driving, and
Mhm.
just going, what a badass like sound this was and band this was, and like um, and you did get to work again with some of the members, didn't you? Eventually.
With the guitar player Scott, him and I, we never. Oh, you know what? We did a couple bands after that, but they never really toured together much, or did just a couple local shows or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've always continued to play music and stuff. The two other guys in the band, one of them he actually passed away quite a while ago,
Yeah.
and then our singer, he never really did anything else after Clickitat. Yeah, he kind of always said he was only going to be in one band and that was going to be it,
Yeah.
and that was his one band. So
Yeah. So
yeah,
you kind of lucky got him when you
yeah,
could. Um, yeah, and then of course, you had Rocket from the Crypt, which you joined,
yeah.
and then Hot Snakes that you joined, and then of course I think Was it Rocket from the Crypt? You announced you were splitting up after Oz, I think it was, after you played Oz.
Pretty soon after that.
Mm.
Trying to remember. I mean, the year it was probably like around 2005 or something like that. But I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
we did a few years of touring and stuff, and you know, I mean, it starts to take a toll on people, and at that point, it was like a pretty big changing time. You know, for a lot of people, start becoming parents,
yeah,
myself included, and
yeah,
you know, when you're touring all year long and you don't really have much to show for it when you come home. It's like you kind of
yeah,
you're like, oh, how am I gonna support a kid doing this and being gone all year long? You know, so
yeah,
you know things kind of just got a little bit serious for a moment
yeah.
in the life zone.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The adult part came started
Yeah,
to come in. I mean, because
yeah,
I was a huge. I mean, I loved Rocket from the Crypt prior to you joining,
yeah,
and
yeah,
I was always into them.
yeah.
And then it
They'd
was
gone to
like,
Australia quite a few times. I'm pretty sure before.
yeah, I
Um,
think they played some festivals as well. But
yeah.
um, yeah, I always liked them prior. And then it was like when
Hmm.
you joined, I was like, yeah, it's even better when friends join bands that you already like. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And then of course you went on to Hot Snakes, which is broken up as well now. But I mean,
Oh no,
are
they're
they
back
broken up?
together.
Oh,
No,
back
they're
together?
well, yeah, they're back together. Yeah.
Back together now. Oh,
But that
that's
was
good.
just kind of the same deal where they, you know, we broke up. I
Adult
was,
life.
yeah, and stuff, and so. But
Yeah,
yeah, they've been playing for a
but
while,
it's
and
back on. Well, that's good.
yeah,
Um, because yeah, I think I'm trying to remember if I think it was the Hot Snakes possibly saw you with here. I saw you maybe.
yeah,
But I know,
hmm
and I've also seen you play with Off
yeah. But
as
we've,
well.
I think we've been to Australia 3 times,
Yeah. So
two
I
or
saw
three
you.
times.
Yeah, I think it was the last time you came. I saw it. Yeah, because I went and hung. I don't know if no, I think you were a responsible adult and you went home after the show, but but myself and Dimitri and some others went out and didn't resurface till about 9 a.m. or something.
Yeah,
It was a bit
I think.
crazy.
Well, there was a year where I was in us. I pretty much almost lived in Australia. I think half of the year. Because I was
Yeah,
there with Earthless, I was there with Hot Snakes, I was there with Off, and I was
hmm
there with Rocket from the Crypt.
yeah,
So that was that was a really unique
yeah. You were just kind
period of
of
time.
an adopted Australian for a while.
Yeah, I'd be walking down like when I don't know. Oh man, Old Town Bar is that the
Yeah,
name of it? Old
yeah.
Town,
Olba.
Old Bar,
Yeah.
and in the street that's off of, I remember, and I would see. Oh man, what's his name from the Meanies? Wally.
Wally Meany, yeah.
Yeah, and then like I just see him like down at like some local restaurant. He'd be like, "What the fuck are you doing here?" You know, like like seeing you again. Like he's like, "I've
Yeah,
just
what are
seen
you
you like three
doing?
weeks ago, and I was there with a different band, and like so." He's like, "Are you living here now?" Like,
Yeah, yeah. It's really funny when that happens and you just like kind of people appear and you're just like, what? I was talking,
yeah,
I think I can't remember who it was that I was talking to, but I was saying Nick Zinner, like I think it must have been Justin. Nick Zinner, I just happen to run into all the time. Like
hmm
whenever I'm overseas or like here, one time I was at Cherry Bar and then he was sitting behind me. And I was
yeah,
like, what are you doing here? And
yeah.
like, or like I was at a show and then we both run up the stairs together. It's like bizarre. He's like, for some reason, we just always seem to like be
Run into
somewhere.
each other.
Yeah.
Is the Cherry Bar gone?
The venue, the good venue is gone.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Um, yeah. You remember
That location is
that
gone
location is gone, yeah.
on ACDC
Lane,
Lane. Yeah.
which is like really, really shitty
Yeah. Oh,
because
that's a bummer.
yeah, he ended up selling it for the money for
Oh,
apartments.
really? Ah.
And so it was a bit of a shitter because it was like a big thing and it was like Save Cherry and like they built
Hmm.
like all this new wall. People like bought, t-shirts and they even bought bricks that had their names on them that went into the new wall.
Yeah.
This amazing Bon Scott, like brass or some or
Hmm.
gold sculpture was put into the wall underneath the
Yeah.
AC/DC sign, and really amazing. And now it kind of means nothing,
Right. Oh
you
man.
know, because like, do you remember Pony?
Um.
It was the place you kind of went around the corner
Oh yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
at the
Yeah.
end when Cherry was closing. So basically, Cherry's that there now. So it's like
Yeah.
double story
Hmm.
and like way more room and stuff like that. But like,
Okay.
but it's not AC/DC lane, so it's still a bit of a bummer. But
Right.
yeah, I wish
Ah.
they could somehow move this stuff to there because it really
Hmm.
makes no sense to have AC/DC lane there now.
Yeah.
When there's
Exactly. There's.
what's the point? Like, no one's gonna like. There's no rock and roll there. It's
Yeah.
just some crappy apartments. So
Apartments.
yeah, so it doesn't, it's a bit crappy. But yeah, but the new one I've been to it I think
Well, it's like
twice.
now it's AC/DC apartments, condos. Don't
Yeah.
count.
No, no, no.
AC/DC.
I feel like everyone should just like go down there with like
Yeah.
boomboxes or something and play AC/DC, just sit in the
Uh-huh.
lane and annoy the crap out of people. Um,
Right.
but yeah, it'd be yeah, I don't know. It'd be good if they could actually take it. I don't know how. Take the sign, take everything and move it to Cherry, like somehow.
Yeah.
Um,
For
because it
sure.
just makes no sense. But yeah, I've been there twice to the new version. I mean, it's the same. It's just really big. So now, like,
Hmm.
it's like kind of upstairs is where bands play, and then
Okay.
there's music in a bar.
Hmm.
So it's kind of like two cherry bars on top of each
Yeah.
other, essentially. And then
Huh.
the little leopard room.
Yeah.
That's like downstairs, and it's in a separate thing, and it's a lot smaller, which is kind
Okay.
of a shame. But
Yeah.
and no jukebox, which is really
Ah,
sad.
that's a bummer.
Yeah. So
Wow.
yeah, I mean, I
Some
think it's
fun times to that spot, the
yeah.
old spot, for sure.
The old spot had a mate. Yeah, I've got so many stories from that place. That's for sure. I think everyone has. Um, yeah. So it's a whole new thing now, and I'm guessing it's just evolving, and maybe it, take time now
Yeah.
and get a
And
better.
you know what? It'll just like with a lot of places that had something that was, it'll form its own new scene, I'm sure, in time.
Yeah, and it's got like an army of dedicated people who are still like
Yeah.
Cherry, you know what I mean? So
Oh, well,
they
that's
still
good.
go
That's
there.
cool.
They still go there, so all the
Yeah.
time. But it's just reopened actually this weekend, but
Oh, wow.
only as like a dinner, like so you have to sit and have dinner and
Yeah.
watch the show. So
Hmm.
like, so yeah, so they have a band like play and yeah, but it's mega expensive.
Oh,
It
wow.
was it was like over $100 and something. So yeah, I was like, I can't justify that to watch a local Aussie band, and eat food that I have no idea what tastes like because Cherry
Right.
doesn't do food. So
Yeah,
who
yeah.
know who interesting
Huh.
the concept. But yeah,
Right.
I'm not gonna be entering into any kind of bars and shit for a couple of months, I think.
Yeah, it's probably a
Uh,
smart move.
I'm not really keen on doing that. Like I just today, like before this, I went out to grab some shit and
Hmm.
drove past a bakery kind of cafe thing. No shit, zero social distancing.
Oh, man.
Everyone just sitting like shoulder to shoulder on a table, like, and the tables were, like maybe not even one person apart. I was just like,
Yeah.
fuck that, because we've
It's
had
kind of
like
the same deal here.
because we've had like we've had a huge spike.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it was the restrictions were relaxed,
Hmm.
and then everyone fucked it up.
Right. That's what's going on
So
here.
yeah, so they've
Oh,
just reimposed it again. So, but yeah,
yeah.
people just aren't taking it seriously still. So we'll see
Actually,
what happens.
today was the biggest today was the biggest count of new cases since the whole thing kind of started being
Started,
documented.
yeah,
So it's kind of,
yeah,
we
crazy.
I don't know, my wife and I decided that today we're just going to keep on like, not not being a part of anything and just
Yeah.
because I've literally been just cooped up at home for the last since March.
Yeah, yeah.
And,
Same.
aside from, practicing with Mike and Isaiah like we did last week and yesterday, that's going to be like the only thing that I'll probably do. So
Yeah.
besides going to like the grocery store or something.
Yeah, which is yeah, pretty much what I've been doing. Well, so what are you guys what are you practicing? Are you working on new stuff or
Yeah,
just
yeah, just all new stuff and well, because Isaiah, I mean, before the pandemic happened, he would have technically been gone with Black Crows like a
Mhm.
week ago or something like that. So he, but now that that's all kind of pushed back to like next year or something,
Yeah.
he's living back down here in San Diego again, and
Yeah, you said yeah.
so we're gonna try to
Which works
just
awesome for you guys.
yeah, no, it's great, and yeah, we're just gonna try and hustle and write new shit.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
And I was gonna say, so how do you like having like jumping from, like Hot Snakes, Earthless off, like they're all punk rock sort of, in a way. Earthless is the
Hmm.
one that's very different,
Yeah.
very set apart. But like and off's a bit more kind of it's punk rock but a bit more political, kind of bits pieces in there.
Hmm.
What's it like? I mean, it just shows how good a drummer you are that you can jump from these things and like, but how kind of how does that work for you when you're like, okay, you get in your like earthless mindset, off mindset? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I just,
I don't. It's not too much of a conscious thing. I think just my influences of growing up, have always been pretty spread out through mostly punk rock and like I grew up as a metal kid, kind of
mhm.
like hard rock and metal, so and just like classic kind of rock stuff. So
Yeah,
I think with all of those kind of just always being in the background and it's just I don't know. I just have an ear for it, I guess, and I've always paid attention to the drummers and a lot of those bands. So
yeah,
I kind of just you know, sometimes you steal moves and you just make them your own and you just do them how
yeah,
you do them. And
yeah,
I'm not going to like say I came up with my own shit all the time. I've like lifted so much stuff, just as
yeah,
a kid, like, oh, like, let's tweak this out into like this little version. And it just becomes your own thing, like, so I think that's how I've been able to adapt and play a lot of different
yeah.
shit.
And then, like, of course, you've got like so many different personalities in each as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, like you get so many, such a different kind of thing. Like, I would imagine, like off band dynamic personalities are very different to Earthless,
Oh
you
God.
know?
Oh God. Yeah. Yeah, it's a trip, like being in
Yeah,
different bands. It's you're in it for like you're really in it, and there's a
yeah,
lot of
yeah,
different personalities that you have to deal with, and I mean mine included. It's like it's just, but it's fun. I
yeah,
mean, but I think everyone knows going into it, when you're like get to the point of like touring internationally that it's like you're gonna have some days where it's not going to be a lot of fun and you have to cut people slack, and
yeah, yeah,
kind of deal with people's
yeah,
shit.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Definitely people always
yeah,
have,
definitely.
everyone has a bad day every now and then, but I've been really lucky. I mean, I think every band I've been in for the most part it's been like pretty easy, so I mean, yeah, it's always been a lot of fun.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
So
it probably helps that you're one of the most like chilled out. You're such a chilled out, nice person that like it's very
yeah, I like to
I
have a good
can't
time.
yeah, like I can't like I think that's what both Isaiah and Justin and I were saying like you're very like there's no one on earth can hate Mario, like you're like it's like you're just that's it's not possible
Yeah,
for you to be like a conflicted and have like someone that's like it's just not
yeah,
just too
I
chill.
mean, you gotta take advantage of the I I don't want to say it's, well, it's a privilege to be able to do, to go and tour and play music and stuff like that, of course, but like to not like take advantage of, seeing different parts of the world and stuff like that. It's just, I just think it's just foolish, I mean,
Yeah.
you're so lucky to, I mean, a lot of times you don't really get to see a lot of this, of the real, of the cities and stuff,
Yeah.
you see a lot of venues and stuff and then on to the next town, and that's cool, whatever, but like, when you get a chance to, like in Australia, we'd always have a couple days off and stuff, and
Yeah.
it's so much fun to just go and cruise around and check out
Yeah. Yeah.
different parts of the city and hang out
Parts
with
of the
people and
city.
stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, so
Yeah. I remember taking you guys to Christmas shopping.
yeah, for sure. I think you took us to
um,
Lord of the Fries,
yes, I did. Yeah, I love the fries, of course, as well. Yeah.
because that place
Yeah.
is,
There's
it's a vegetarian burger place, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
vegetarian and vegan, and they have so
yeah.
much now that's like so
I love
much.
that spot.
You should. It's
It's
like
good.
it's got heaps more places now, and
Oh, crazy.
the menu's next level now. They have milkshakes. They have like all sorts of shit.
Yeah.
Like the pepper, like the chili poppers, and like yeah, it's a huge menu now. So
Yeah.
it's got like everything
Oz chili poppers.
yeah, yeah. It's just like whatever. Yeah, it just
Yeah.
gets bigger and bigger, and like it's the number one spot that all the international like
Yeah.
musicians want to go to.
And
So
it was really, I mean, that's the one spot, like I think about it, I'm just like, oh, I wish they had
yeah,
one out here. Like kind
yeah,
of.
they should think about it. Because even like just the fries, even if you don't get the other stuff, just the fries alone are amazing. When it first
Yeah.
started, it was just fries and like one or two burgers, and now it's
Hmm.
like a bazillion burgers and like a bazillion like different sauces for the fries and like
Yeah.
breakfast and like everything now. So yeah,
Okay.
it's pretty crazy.
It's
And in
developing.
yeah, there's like in Brunswick where I think we usually always hang is
Hmm.
it's kind of like a diner set up in that one.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
yeah, so when you come back next, I'll take you there. But there's also a really awesome restaurant
Perfect.
that I think you'll like, called Smith and Daughters, which
Okay.
we definitely have to go to. There's so many places now compared to when you were here last time.
Oh, I bet.
So yeah, so it just keeps going and going.
Yeah.
And then I was going to say, of course, like in the 80s and early 90s, you were a professional skateboarder.
Yep.
And you weren't just on any team. You were on Team Alva, which is like
Yeah.
pretty fucking incredible.
It
To
was the
be,
dream. It was like it
yeah,
was like a total kid dream for me. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
And getting to work with Tony as well, like, must have been incredible. Like, what was that? Like, how did that come about? And what was that journey like?
Oh man. I was 15, and I was lucky. I had a couple friends that were already sponsored by Alva,
Mm-hmm.
and so um, I would skate with those guys a lot when I was 15, 16.
Mm.
And then I was just lucky to enter a couple contests, and Dave Duncan, he was a team manager at the time. He was also announcing, I think, the contest back then.
Yep.
So yeah, he just kind of he hit me up because I was winning at the time, like a couple of the whatever the age division
Yep.
group I was in and stuff. So
Yeah.
he yeah, I still have the business card he gave me and stuff, and
Uh,
so it just kind of flourished, over the next year, and started getting like packages from them. And but back then you had to really you had to prove yourself in a different way. You didn't have video parts, you didn't have, it was just all like contest circuit stuff. So
yeah.
you had to win, and you had to, you know, I I I was
It was
already into
much
it.
more like competition based, whereas like
Yeah,
yeah,
but like Alva had like a look back then. It was like
yeah,
compared to like the fluorescent bright colored Vision
yeah,
streetwear stuff,
yeah,
Alva was like more punk and
yeah,
leather and dreads and stuff, and I had all that. So
yeah.
yeah, so I got sponsored by them, and actually my first my first trip ever through them was going to Australia. So
We
I
should
went
just like
there.
give you dual citizenship.
Yeah, and I was 16 and I went to Manly Beach. I think it was in Sydney,
Yeah, Sydney. Yeah.
and then went to Japan and yeah, that was my first skate trip was with Alva. Was going to Australia and Japan, and we skated the was it Paran? Is that how you say it?
Fran.
Pran. There was a ramp there back in the late
Day.
'80s, and
Hmm.
I went to go skate, and that was cool. And yeah, it was that was a
So
big
back
trip for
then,
me
yeah, it would have been, yeah. So
because
back,
that's the trip that when I went there with Alva, that was the skate trip that for me got me hooked on Australian rock and roll
yeah,
because
yeah,
at that point I was only into basic punk and thrash and like speed metal and death metal.
yeah,
And then the guy that was taking us around to all the skate spots, our like skate chauffeur,
yep.
he took us to go see the New Christ play,
Hmm.
and which was like Radio Birdman guys and
Yes,
stuff.
yep.
So
And then you kind of started getting
did I get off
into
from?
everything there. Oh, you did just for a second. Yeah, and then you started to
Okay,
get into everything there because, like, I I think I think
yeah.
a lot of people forget, or they actually don't know that some of these bands
Hmm.
are Australian, um, as
Right.
well, which I find really funny. But like, they have no idea. Like, I think Henry Rollins, you know how he always does that radio show.
Hmm.
He plays a hell of a lot of old Australian, like from back then as
Yeah.
well. And like Radio Birdman were amazing. New Christ. I absolutely like love Mark of Cain. Like, you know,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. Like, so it was like, yeah, it's really cool. Like to get into the sort of thing. Like, who else were you kind of listening to that you got into from Oz?
Well, when I came back from that trip, and I saw the New Christ play, I was totally floored by that live show. And then that's when I asked them, like, who are these guys, And that's when they
Yeah.
told me, like, about the Radio Birdman history and stuff. And
Mm,
I came back home, and when I'd go record shopping, first thing I looked up was, like, of course, Radio Birdman, and then, like, Hoodoo Gurus and stuff, and
yeah.
just kind of, like, basic, a little more of the,
Yeah.
the more known Australian bands and stuff. And then
Yeah.
I kind of got into more like, oh, who else was it? Like Celibate Rifles,
Yes.
The Fun Things,
Hmm.
Saints, of course,
Yes. Yeah.
and then I don't know, weird bands like Razor and yeah, just like really obscure punk bands and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. We have a lot of them. Like
Yeah.
loads of like really different, like I think when I was talking to, I think it was, yeah, it would have been Justin, and we were like, we came up against um Piss Christ, which were a metal band, and he had no idea they were
Oh yeah.
Australian. They're like
Oh,
crust
okay.
punk, and they're Australian.
Uh huh.
So, it
Hmm.
was like, yeah, and like a few
I've
people
heard of
from,
them. I haven't heard of them.
yeah, yeah. I saw them play, like, it's ridiculous. Like, I would see them play nearly every weekend. They played at
Uh
my
huh.
the local bar that I went to when I was like 18, 19. And it
Yeah.
was like all
Oh.
bullet belts
Oh,
and
my buddy O. What's up, O?
the
My buddy O in the comments, he's saying the
birthday
birthday
party.
party.
Yeah,
Yeah. I found out
definitely.
about the birthday party a little bit later on, though, way later. The birthday party came about when I was in Klickitat, Italy.
Yeah,
And when Klickitat started, we were kind of like, I don't know, we were like kind of on the arty side still, like Joy Division, but like
yeah,
it was like Joy Division, Neil Young, and like Grand Funk. But then we all kind of heard the birthday party at the same time, and it was just like,
yeah.
oh fuck, it's over. You know what I mean? Like the drums on the birthday party records are just fucking so good. Like
Yeah,
Zoo Music Girl, like if you know that song,
yeah. I
and
do.
if you
Yeah,
don't know it, you should check it out. But like the
yeah,
drumming on that song was like a total catalyst for like so much stuff that we, like I just like took off of that and just like had so much fun. It was like,
Yeah.
yeah, the birthday party is like a huge, still like top 10 favorite band.
Yeah.
So
When I was
yeah,
young, I remember watching like oh, well, I felt that's when I actually fell in love with Nick Cave um when before birthday party when it was Boys Next Door. So
yeah.
yeah, so
That stuff's good.
yeah. So when that first like
Did I
yeah,
tell you that we saw Nick Cave the very first time when we
no,
stayed with you guys? So the first
no.
time we went and Rob picked us up from the airport, the first time we came to Australia with Earthless, we he picked us up from the airport and we went straight to oh man, whatever the main road in Melbourne is. And he took us to a pizza place and we were just like so delirious out of our minds, like jet
Oh,
lagged.
was it Bimbos and it,
Yeah, totally.
yeah, yeah, and you well, yeah.
So we're waiting in line to get, to order the
Yes, I
pizza.
remember
And
this.
I
Yeah,
look over to my left and I see Nick Cave sitting with his two
yeah,
boys
hmm
at the table and the place is packed. So we had to wait for a table to empty up.
yeah.
And I see Nick Cave there. I'm like, is this my jet lag delirious, like mind, like seeing that? And it's like, no, he's there. He's got a lavender like shirt and he's looking totally like
Snick, yeah.
really slick. Yeah. And his two kids are there. And so whatever, like we're waiting for a place to sit. And then all of a sudden his table becomes available. And so that's where
Yes,
we ended up sitting
yeah, I
at.
remember that.
And and
Did
uh,
you
and the
sit in
food
Nick's
hadn't
chair too?
been. No, I think I was in his like one of his boys' chairs, but like
I would have ran to Nick's chair and then
but
like
like
sat in it and like rubbed all over it.
the food, the leftover food, the uneaten food wasn't like taken, from the waiter yet.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, Isaiah, that's like the chili, that's the jalapeno pepper that Nick didn't eat. I'm like, someone's got to eat that. But
Dude,
no one
no
did.
one did. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's such it's a funny thing because he pops up like throughout the year
Yeah.
all the time,
Yeah,
and
I saw him across the street though. Like 10 minutes later, he was across the street walking with his boys, and whatever. I had like a really crappy camera at the time, but
yeah,
I took like two sniper photo shots of him like
yeah,
walking
yeah.
across the street. I'm like, it was just yeah,
You're like,
that
yeah.
was pretty surreal though.
Oh, dude, when I don't know if I think I might have told you later, like when you stayed at my house a few times, that where I worked is up the road from so where I lived was not far from the pizza place that you're talking about.
Mhm.
And
Oh,
so he would go there a lot and also like with the two boys and also meet up with his eldest son, Jethro. So he's
oh,
still goes there. You're in the dark. You're out in the dark. I think we've lost him for a minute. Give him a sec. He's gone into oblivion. Oh, sorry, guys. It kind of sounded like he fell over. Are you all right? You all right, mate?
you're right.
Yeah, I thought you
I
fell
lost you
over.
for a minute.
Yeah, same. I thought you fell over.
No, well, the phone fell out for a minute, but the connection got really bad.
Yeah. No, it kind of you went bleh, and
Sorry
then
about that.
went black, and I thought you'd like just like drunkenly just went bleh. No, I
Not
was
quite
just
there yet.
no. No, I was just saying, yeah, like that. So he goes to that pizza place all the time, and he meets his oldest son there, Jethro, who lives in that area.
Okay.
So like,
Yeah.
so he goes there, and then two friends of mine, he gets jewelry made by my friend Julia Deville, and so he goes and sees her, and then there's also William, who does his big rings as well. So he always goes
Hmm.
Bimbos, then those two places, and like you'll see like on Twitter and stuff, like it'll be like Nick Cave is on Brunswick Street, like, and
Yeah.
everyone like goes, descends on the place, and yeah, and when I worked near Paran, and so
Hmm.
like in South Yarra, and Nick Cave's favorite Italian restaurant is up the road from where my office was. So when he meets with his manager or whatnot, he would meet there,
Hmm.
and so I'd be on the lunch break, and I can't even be. It's so weird, and like walk past, and it's like a tiny little, like almost like a real Italian thing, so very small. So there's no room
Hmm.
to like get in there and be like, hello, or anything like. And so you walk past on the footpath, and like I'd walk past and be like, Nick Cave, and then like keep walking, and then turn around, walk back to work. And like every time everyone would be like, go and say hello, and I'm like, it's too small. It's like
Yeah.
he's trying to eat his meal. It's tiny. I'm not going to go in there because I would rather not meet him and have him be like shitty. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I was like, you don't want to pick. You've got to pick your time when you like do that shit for those kind of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to walk past him all the time, like having his lunch meeting with his agent there, and I'd be just like,
Hmm.
oh, freak out, freak out, freak out every single time. And he also goes to the skate shop, which I think you guys went to, that main one in the city. So every
Um.
year, yeah, so every year he goes there, like he gets Christmas presents there for the boys, like
Okay.
yeah, because he's got four sons, but of course one passed
Right. One
away.
of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's always goes into that skate shop, and always does like photos and stuff with everyone.
That's
But
cool.
yeah, but then I had my moment in the sun when he came over for that first doco, the first one he did, and
Hmm.
yeah, and he did a Q&A, and I got the front row center right in front of him, and I kept cracking jokes about really shit Q&A questions people were asking, and he could hear me because you know how loud my voice is, and he
Yeah.
could hear me, and he could hear me, and he kept laughing, and like yeah, he was like making faces at me and stuff, and I was like, this is the best day of my life. And then of course,
I bet. Yeah.
yeah, the jeweler, had seen him earlier that day, and so she said to me, go up to him afterwards, tell him you're my mate, and he will like chat to you. And I was like, okay. So when he did like a hi, like to people, there was like he was signing just stuff, but there was no photos. And I was like, hey, like I'm a friend of Julia's, and then he just started talking to me, and then he was yeah, and I was like, and yeah, and I was like, can I have a photo? Can I have a photo? And he was like, yeah, for sure. And so like we took a photo, and we were in the middle of chatting and stuff, and my friend took the photo, and then immediately everyone started pulling out their phones, like wanting to ask for photos, and he was like, no, sorry guys,
Yeah.
I'm only signing
Yeah.
things. This is for a personal thing, and I was
Hmm.
like, I walked out of there like, you know, it was my moment in the sun. Definitely.
That's a good moment.
Yeah, I'm still like, but
Yeah.
yeah, there is like a ton of like old Australian music. And funny thing is, the very first, the very 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 first interview I ever did, I was 14. I feel like doing that, but I only have a Coke. But I can do it too. Do a big, um, yeah. And I was like,
Uh-oh.
I was,
Oh, there you go. There you are.
yeah. I was 14,
Your
and
voice your voice was starting to sound like that Cher song for 1 second. It was like all
was it all funny?
yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Before I ever started the blog or did anything like that, yeah, I was like 14, and I interviewed
Oh wow.
the drummer from the Go-Betweens. She was like one of the first
Okay.
female drummers in Australia. And
Yeah.
I always bring that up. I'm like, yeah, I thought it was very cool at the time, like, because it was like, I knew I didn't realize how iconic they would become.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then and now I can like always be like, hey, that chick, I interviewed her when I was 14 years old. That was the first one I ever did. But
Yeah.
yeah, she was like she played drums in dresses, and it was like a very big deal,
Hmm.
and she was a really cool drummer.
That's
Um,
cool.
but yeah, what we get back to the skateboarding. I was gonna say, yeah, like now you just skate for fun, but you get like
Yeah.
loads of good like sponsorships for Earthless and stuff, don't you, through skate?
We've we've been really lucky to over the years have some really cool collaborations with a bunch of different companies and stuff. So yeah, that's been really cool in that aspect to, work with some, not just, one specific company, but like anyone
Many,
from like Psychedelic, to make a sock or,
yeah,
you know, making a shoe with America, some years
yeah,
ago and just doing stuff with like different skaters, video parts and stuff like that. We've
yeah.
kind
I
of
think your music's
done a
been
bunch of
used.
stuff.
Your music's been used as well, I think, hasn't it, on a couple of
Yeah,
videos?
yeah, quite a couple different things. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And I
so
remember when you got that huge box of sneakers delivered to our house,
yeah,
and like they fit like one of you or something. We had there's like a
right,
zillion of them.
yeah,
Um, is it weird? Because I was like thinking, about it. I know you did an interview type thing a while ago about vinyl and stuff
hmm,
with Riley Hawk.
yeah,
Um, is it weird? Like, I don't know. I feel like Riley's like this kind of. He's followed your like. He was a huge Earthless fan, and now he's got like his own two bands, like one that's very Earthlessy and one that's a bit harder.
hmm,
And then of course, skating as well and that kind of thing. Is that just like
yeah.
really fucking surreal to be like, this second generation of like skater and music and kind of thing?
Um, it's cool to see. It's really cool to see any kind of I mean, whether it's directly influenced by anyone else or us or whoever. It's just, I just see that as like all positive and
Yeah,
it's, especially nowadays because like, you don't know what people are getting into these days as far as music, so
yeah,
I mean for me it's like I was as a young kid I was inspired by like Caballero and like Tommy Guerrero. Like those guys played music, they
yeah,
played in punk bands, and they skated. And so that was like my like the skate rock thing was like such a big inspiration for me. And um,
yeah. And
so I
there's
always
a
just thought like if I could turn people on to both things, and in some, I don't know, shape or form, it's like just try to spread the good word, and
yeah,
stuff. And it's
yeah. And
like,
there's two like there's quite a few skate rock bands now with skating
yeah, and
and
it's
everything.
like but it's now it's like it's not as much as like you don't, I don't know, it's just something that like it's just part of the lifestyle, I think.
Yeah,
And
exactly. Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like it just goes so hand in hand that I
yeah,
think that's like it's just kind of a no-brainer. And I think
yeah,
it's cool to see that a lot of people have finally figured out. It's like, okay, if you skate and you obviously are going to dig music,
yeah,
and more people are like trying to play music and do all of those things and stuff. And skaters are usually good at anything they try. So,
yeah. Most
so
of the time, yeah,
they try playing music and stuff. There's more than not, a lot of people end up being pretty good at playing music too, that skate. So
yeah, yeah. We're getting the like warning like thing. Did you want to chat a little more, or do you need to boot?
I'm, I'm fine. I'm
All right,
good.
cool. I'll just
Good.
hang up and come back in for
Okay.
part two. Cool.
Alrighty. Okay.
Alrighty, bye.
See ya. Bye.